Dear friends, in this video lecture, we are going to consider about the concept of centripetal force and centrifugal force. Again, it's a very interesting to learn. What do you mean by centripetal force and centrifugal force? For that, again, we will come to the circular motion. Motion of particle along the circumference of circle is called as circular motion. For circular motion, there is a need of tangential velocity which is able to change its direction from time to time. Therefore, here is the circular motion in a vertical plane. It is like this one. A particle is performing circular motion like this one. This particle has a mass m. It is moving along a circle of radius r, obviously in a anti-clockwise sense of direction. Velocity of a particle of mass m at a given instant of time is along the tangent which is represented by v. As particle performs circular motion, it moves from one place to another place, and every time there is a continuous change in the direction of linear velocity, and the linear velocity is represented by vector v is equal to vector omega cross vector r. Omega is along the axis of rotation perpendicular to the plane of revolution. R is in the plane of revolution. As it is the cross product, r and v are perpendicular to each other and perpendicular to radius is tangent. Therefore, velocity in circular motion is along the tangent. It continuously changes its direction. Therefore, for uniform circular motion, continuous change in direction of velocity is necessary. This change in direction of velocity is due to velocity is always in the direction of tangent. Therefore, this velocity is along the tangent. And as the direction of velocity changes continuously, it has acceleration, or the acceleration is able to change the direction of velocity. This acceleration, as we have discussed earlier, is along the radius and towards center, and hence called as radial acceleration or centripetal acceleration, which is given by centripetal acceleration is minus omega square vector r. The particle is continuously changes the direction of velocity, therefore it has acceleration. Therefore, motion of particle is in accelerated frame of reference. Particle in uniform circular motion is in accelerated frame of reference, or it is in non-inertial frame of reference. According to Newton's second law of motion, the rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the applied force, and it takes place in the direction of force. The change of momentum proportional to force and change of momentum takes place in the direction of force. Therefore, the change of momentum is mv minus u divided by t. M in the bracket v minus u divided by t. Therefore, change of momentum is equal to the acceleration. Therefore, this acceleration, or one more thing that is always known to us, is that acceleration is always directly proportional to the applied force and inversely proportional to the mass. Therefore, this centripetal acceleration is because of a force which is centripetal force, or the force which provides required centripetal acceleration is a centripetal force. It is along radius, or therefore radial force or centripetal force is the cause of circular motion, and it is given by minus of m omega square vector r. Actually, force is mass into acceleration. Acceleration is here minus omega square vector r. This centripetal force just we discussed is able to provide centripetal acceleration, which is able to change the direction of velocity, which makes a body to perform a circular motion. Therefore, centripetal force is the cause of circular motion. Centripetal force is the cause of circular motion. This is one more thing which is to be noted. Now, here one thing I want to stress here is that the force which is towards the center is responsible for circular motion. It is necessary, no doubt, but it is not sufficient. In addition to that, the force should be along the radius and towards the center. This is the one need of circular motion. And another thing is that the velocity will be along the tangent. Therefore, velocity along the tangent and force is towards the center. If both the conditions are satisfied, then and then only the motion is a circular motion. Therefore, what is the cause of circular motion? A centripetal force which is along radius towards center and a tangential velocity. Force velocity are perpendicular, and because of that the motion is circular one. Hereafter we will think of what do we mean by a centrifugal force. Now we will start with the explanation of centrifugal force. For that, what I had done, I had drawn a simple figure here. P is the object which is in a circular motion. P is an object in a horizontal circular motion. The circular motion takes place in a horizontal plane about a vertical axis. The motion of object P, which is a uniform circular motion, is observed by an observer A, which is outside the circular motion, which is outside the circular path. This person A is on the ground outside the circular path, is in inertial frame of reference. This A is in inertial frame of reference. He is in inertial frame. What A used to observe? The A used to observe that P is in a circular motion. He justifies that P is circular motion because it has centripetal acceleration given by vector AC is equal to minus omega square vector r. This centripetal acceleration is given by a centripetal force. These are the observation of A, who is in inertial frame outside the circular motion. Now, let us consider there is another person who is with P. The another person who is with P is also moving in a circular path with P. For the another person B who is in a circular motion with P, the P is at rest. The observation of B is that P is at rest. If a person B closes his eye and think of the motion, he feels that as if he is at rest, because both P and B are in accelerated frame of reference. For A, B and P both are in motion. For B, P is at rest. B is an accelerated frame of reference. Now, to justify the rest of P in accelerated frame of reference, we have to assume existence of a pseudo force in order to apply Newton's laws of motion. The pseudo force, existence of pseudo force in accelerated frame of reference. In this case, the acceleration is AC minus omega square r. Now, this B and P are accelerated in a frame of reference whose acceleration of frame of reference is minus omega square vector r. The frame of reference itself is accelerating with minus of omega square r. In order to apply Newton's law in this accelerated non-inertial frame of reference, we have to consider the presence of a pseudo force which is mass into acceleration, and therefore it should be equal to m omega square vector r. This is the pseudo force that we have to consider in accelerated frame of reference. This pseudo force together with a real force, this is the pseudo force plus real force. What real force is minus omega square vector r, it is centripetal force. These together will make the person to feel that the object is at rest. This pseudo force like this comes out to be equal to m omega square vector r, and this is along the radius and directed towards the center. Therefore, it is called as centrifugal force. Centripetal means center seeking force. It is towards the center. Centrifugal force is away from the center of the circle. The presence of or the existence of the force is considered in order to apply Newton's laws of motion. And why this force is there? The force is there because every time the object has inertial tendency to remain in a same state of motion. It moves along a straight line. It tries to move along a straight line in the direction of a force, but the centripetal force is there to make it to move along the tangent, to make it its direction. When it comes to this point, it has to change its direction. The change in direction is possible because of this centripetal acceleration and centripetal force. And the tendency, inertial tendency to remain in a same straight line along the tangent make the object to move away from the circular path or to move out of the circular path. It is because of the accelerated motion which tries to maintain its motion along the tangent, and that is the centrifugal force. The centrifugal force is the force as experienced by the object in a circular motion. It is along the radius and away from the center, and it is the effect of circular motion. When I say that the centripetal force is the cause of circular motion and the centrifugal force will be the effect of the circular motion. Let us consider a stone is tied to a string and the stone is whirled in a circular path, in a vertical circular path. Now, when stone is released at this point, because of centrifugal force, it will not move like this one. Because of centrifugal force, it will not fly away in a vertical direction, in an upward direction. But if you break the centripetal force here, it will move along the tangential path. Therefore, the role of centrifugal force is not to make the body to move along the radius and away from the center, but it is to make the body to come again in a circular path. This is about the centrifugal force. Centrifugal force is observed only in accelerated frame of reference. It is a radially directed outward force as experienced by the particles or object or the persons in a circular motion. When stone is tied to a string, the required centripetal force is provided by tension in the string. For the revolution of satellite round the sun, the required centripetal force is provided by the gravitational force. For the motion of electron round the nucleus, required centripetal force is provided by force of attraction between the nucleus and the electron. Like that, for every circular motion, we can find out the centripetal force and compare this centripetal force with the real forces like gravitational force, electromagnetic force, like that, or we can compare it with the real forces. Therefore, centripetal force is a real force, but centrifugal force arises when and only when the object is in circular motion. If you speed up motion of a circular motion of an object, in that case the centrifugal force make the object to move away from the center. But once the speed is maintained, when it brought to a uniform speed, at that time the centripetal force and centrifugal force are equal, and it continues to move with a constant speed at constant radius. This is what do you mean by the centrifugal force, and thank you very much.